I do.
Alright, we're done. Are you getting on the truck and picking the trash up, or are you signing a resignation letter and going home?
I'm not signing a
Then get on the truck. Those are your two choices.
On that truck, it talks about don't operate without reading the circumvent or the operator's manual. Keep
Okay, would you stop with the splitting hairs? You wanted a book when you got written up, now you want the operator's manual for the truck. You were shown how to use the truck. Right now, you're refusing to work.
I'm not refusing to work. I'm trying to figure out a way to get this done.
Alright, so let me change that. You don't have two choices, you have three. One, get back on the truck, finish the route that you were assigned for today. Two, sign the resignation letter and leave. Or three, I'll write you up for leaving the route early because you're not working on the yard. So you'll leave early again, you're gonna get written up, and you're gonna get terminated. So,
This is with every fucking day. No. Man, I told you this about the exact truck a year ago. And then everybody be breaking on this ain't shit here for that shit I knew. I know. I don't expect it to be. So what the fuck you keep complaining about shit you already know it was like that? You knew that when you got your ass on the truck this morning. Bro, you don't do the shit in that? I tried to respect Ricky and let him make the call, but he wasn't gonna do it.
Is a Tuesday first pickup?
I understand truck break and things wear out. I told you go to. I don't want to talk about that shit anymore. You talk to Scott or anything else. Either or. See what they want you to do. I'm done with all that shit. That shit is not right to me. Oh, trust me. That shit don't make no sense.
I hate it. Goddamn. Say whatever the fuck they want to say. Try to spend it however they want to spend it. Goddamn, Pat told me I said, damn the ass into that truck sitting low. I was trying to get away from Rick to get into the truck. Ran it by him. I was like, it's sitting low to you? I don't know. Let's go. Mush on.
It ain't just the fucking truck, it's the damn blippers are sat low.
I know. It adds
them are sat high. So I'd rather be just high where you could actually hook it. The only part about that, when you're on the hill a little bit, you gotta actually lift the goddamn can up on two.
Oh yeah. But it's up like on the frame of the truck. It's got like two beams that are kind of bolted together or whatnot. But you can see where one the top beam towards the front of the cab or towards the front of the container it's got a little space in it where it's lifting up. It's actually tilted back like it's about to come off that frame.
I still got shit on the ground.
Yeah, wait.
RJ had to leave at 2. And RJ and Big Boy. Big Boy left. He said he leaving with RJ. RJ leaving at 2. So they were gonna send a water out there with Big Boy so I could finish. Big Boy said he leaving with RJ.
so tell me why you can't finish the route.
Because it's 4:30, almost 5 o'clock.
Okay, the route's got to come
12
up.
hours.
The route has to come up.
I've worked 12 hours a day, max. That's 60 hours a week. I didn't agree to do whole routes in a day. I agreed to 60 hours a week.
Well, I agreed to 40 hours a week, and I never worked 40 hours a week. So Scott has said, if you don't want to finish the route, you can stay gone.
Where's Scott?
Go.
I'll talk, if he's here tomorrow, I'll talk to him in the morning.
Yeah, he's open tomorrow.
All right, I'll talk to him in the morning.
I'll let him know you came back in and refused to finish the route.
I didn't refuse anything.
You just refused to finish the route.
I didn't refuse anything. I work my 12 hours. There's a whole bunch of reloads here. We were down and getting no help. That's bullshit. Yeah, I don't mind. You never get no help.
After what happened last week, that day when you came in, I ain't working more than 12 hours. I'm not going back on the truck and going home. That's the second time he's done that.
So we gotta let you go.
What?
We gotta let you go. You're not off on. You come in here, you decide what you're gonna do, you decide when you're gonna leave, you decide when you're gonna stay. You do that on a regular basis.
Oh, I don't. No, I don't.
So I'm just letting you know we gotta let you go.
Hold on a minute. Do you even hear? Wow, hold on. I left your voice message telling me exactly why. Exactly what the issue was. So, Scott, if you don't mind, I'd like to at least state my case.
Go ahead.
So Monday, me, Chaz, Mark Buford. No problems. End of the day comes, the truck is full, right? I let Buford know that the truck's full. He says, well, all we got is the last street. All we got is the last street. All right. So we put that last street on there. It took about 20 minutes to get the last 10 in. That's how little room there was. The blade could not sweep whatsoever. All right. So Tuesday comes. I'm riding with him again, but it's Jeremy's with me this time. Well, because the hopper was so full from the day before, he had to get one of the guys at the landfill to open, to use one of the backhoes or whatever, one of the tractors to open the hopper. Well, in doing so, it broke the street side step, and I mean broke it bad. Like the only place it was connected was the front. It was just kind of sitting on a piece of bent metal. So we ended up having to come back to the yard, get it swapped out, because it was, I mean, even Jeremy wrote on it for a little bit, and he even said, oh yeah, this is definitely broke. If where we usually stand, I mean, there was no sort of connection whatsoever. Alright? So, we come back to the yard, we get the step swapped out, we go back to the route. We fill up the truck, at one point in time, so it was, the hopper was already, half full, like the hopper itself, as far as where the blade would stop. And, you know, we hopped it, we finished that neighborhood, we hopped in the truck, and, you know, I stared at him and said, so what's for lunch? You know, thinking that he's about to go into the truck, not go to another big, rather large neighborhood and keep trying to, pack it on again, considering what just happened that, you know, thinking that he would have learned his lesson from the day before about the breaking stuff and whatnot. But no, he pulls into another neighborhood and wants to keep loading again. Same thing, right? So that's where I said, look, I'm not going to be tearing up trucks. You know, if y'all want to keep loading it, have at it, you know, come back when you're done. So they do, but of course, I guess Buford called and said that I was refusing to work or something along those lines. I wasn't refusing to work, I just refusing to get in the truck.
All three of them different stories.
Well, I'll promise you, I'm an honest soul. Anyway, so they go and they try to get as much. Jeremy says they practiced and the blade wouldn't move again, but of course they couldn't finish the neighborhood. So Buford goes into his truck, comes back, and so we finished that little bit of neighborhood. There might have been 40 cans or so in that neighborhood, and we go right down the street here to, I forget the name of it, but it's a little circle right up the street. And we do that neighborhood. And Buford goes and empties the truck again. With maybe 100 cans on it. Maybe. Which made no sense unless you're trying to space out time.
Now, I'm going to stop you there because not just this last week, you've done it with Johnny when you're on recycle.
It was the same issue.
No, I'm saying you've done it with Johnny when you're on recycle. And every time that you get questioned about anything or have any discipline taken against you, you call out the very next day. And we can prove that, and you say you don't feel good.
Huh?
No, we're tired of it. Let us say, today is your last day of employment with the company. You can argue if you want to. Bobby's got the paperwork.
Wait, what discipline action did you talking about?
No, you know exactly what he's talking about because you refused to sign it.
What happened to Thursday?
Today's your last day with the company.
God, what the fuck? What happened Thursday? I called out Friday because I had to pull muscle from working with Malik. So what disciplinary action was taken on the
28th of June.
28th of
You
June?
had with Marquez and Johnny and didn't want to get work on the truck. And
Right, and that was fraudulent.
that is not fraudulent.
That's not what happened.
Like you said, you can fight this all you want.
I'm getting terminated on my second write-up. Is that correct?
You've had multiple attendance issues, and if you want to go over them, we can go over them.
Yes, please. I'd also like to review my personnel file.
This is the write-up
on June 29th, you called out after you got written up on the 28th. July 13th.
Wait, hold on.
August 3rd.
Hold on.
And then
What was that now?
we had an issue on the 23rd, and you called out on Friday.
What? Hold on a minute. What was the first thing?
What, all your write-ups, all your...
Yeah.
I'm not speaking to anything.
Oh, my call out?
This write-up is 28th. You called out the 29th. You called out on July 13th. You called out on August 3rd. And you called out again on Friday.
So 4 call outs. What does that? I don't understand how that has anything to do with it.
Alright. We're not going to go back and forth for 5.5, 6 hours.
No, I know we're
You can
not.
argue this with all you want, but
All right.
you're refusing to stay on the truck. You get off the truck when you feel like it.
No, I don't.
The driver runs the truck. Whether he does,
So he can drag out my day all day long?
he's not dragging out your day.
He spent 3 hours unloading 100 cans. That's insane. I'm unreasonable here? Because I don't want to be out till midnight? I've already totaled 1 car because y'all haven't worked me out.
Okay? And that's why we're trying not to have everybody run all those out.
That's why I came back. They're already been working 12 hours.
Which is why we're putting 2 people on a truck as often as we can to get the truck to the
So,
right.
if you know that it's an issue, then why is that an issue?
Because you can't abandon the truck. When you're having a time and you have a route to pick up, you can't abandon the truck. And your attitude and demeanor is you're going to do whatever you want, whenever you want.
I do everything I'm telling you to do.
Well, like,
Include things that... I'd like to review my personnel file, please. Do I have to put it in writing?
what do you want to review?
My personnel file.
What do you want to review?
The folder with my name on it.
What is it you want to review in it?
The folder. I want to see what has been attached to my name at the company. I mean, I can put it in writing if you like.
You got a final written warning. I don't even know what you got before I got here, but I know you got a final written warning from me.
Well, that's why I'd like to see it all. I'd like to see it all. This is silly. It's
I
so
showed you
silly.
your final written warning.
My final written warning?
It's the one you refused.
Oh, the one, that's fine. The first and final. Oh, yeah.
That was the final written warning.
First and final. I don't understand what it means here.
I'm going to upload all this, and if you
That's what I'd like to see.
If you want to call HR,
I'd like to
your
see what,
termination paperwork, which you got a copy of.
I would like to review my personnel file, please. That would not be so. May I use the pen? And a piece of paper, please.
I got to get with Ed and find where the actual file is because everything is uploaded.
Can I read what, the paperwork that you give? I'm sure that this isn't the only thing that is,
This was the final written warning. So
Alright.
if you refuse to sign,
yeah, because it's fraudulent. It's not accurate at all. You didn't speak to me before you wrote this.
nothing Friday, they go
Oh, when I'm trying to call Fred, but the number on the phone. I know you don't want to hear nothing, man.
I don't. I wasn't here, and you can sit around here all day long and talk about it.
Is this copy from me, or what? Cause I please the agreement notice that I signed with Fred when I first started.
You should have got copies of all your onboarding.
According to the handbook, I can review my personnel files, which that would be included in this, correct? Is that correct or no?
You can contact whatever you want them to say.
As far as I'm aware, I put it in writing. I have a right to review my personnel file here in person. Yeah, and I still don't have HR's number. This write-up so far off is insane. Absolutely insane. Nobody squat trucks that day. The second they had been running with them.
Come on.
1-800.
You got pro.
207.
207.
6618.
6618. And this is supposed to be
And I don't know
human
what
resources?
Huh?
This is supposed to be human resources?
There's all kinds of options on there. Payroll, HR, all of it is on there.
Hello?
Hey, sorry about that.
You're
All right, so you had basically two main complaints. So it says earlier this year on July 5th, same manager, which that is Bobby, threatened to falsify the same document with the same information or ignore the hazard and continue operating equipment that did not function properly.
Mm-hmm.
So the speaking to Scott, speaking to Sid, speaking to Fred, they were kind of involved.
Mm-hmm.
They contend, outside of this investigation, they contend when you are on the yard, you are good because you're not really interacting so much with other people. So they said outside of that is attendance or some kind of issue with you. That's what they contend. So for the two issues that you brought up, it says, that he threatened to falsify documents. But I asked for Scott, to go back to verify that maintenance, who that's considered our experts, say that the truck was working fine on July 5th. The issue that the truck was brought back to the yard for, and they contend that maintenance reviewed as well as the maintenance manager verified that the truck was safe to operate. So you refusing was an issue.
Well, if they feel that truck was safe to operate, then they're not qualified.
Mm-hmm. And so then the next thing, the 822, let me go back on 822.
Oh, and real quick before we move on to the next one,
sure.
So that date they were talking about where Bobby kept insisting that the managers had looked at it.
Yeah, the maintenance.
So nobody had looked at it since we had gotten back to the shop. Like that truck never pulled into the safety lane bay. Nobody ever walked out to look at it, other than Fred and Bobby walked out there, but they didn't walk out there to look at it. So at that time, nobody had even bothered to look at what I was talking about.
Yeah, so they contended that the truck was safe. I mean, there's nothing else that we have to go on besides you saying it wasn't safe, them saying yes it's safe, maintenance saying we said this truck is safe.
I mean, I've got pictures of where the container body was coming off, was separating from the frame. Because that's what was making the rear end sag, or was one of the other things that was adding to the sag on the rear end of the truck.
So then they say that, but again, they contend, and Scott is adamant, you did not want to, they gave you the option to continue whatever, you didn't want to, so basically that's why you were given the option of, you can do this.
Well, so me and Scott had already agreed on me working the yard before any of this even took place.
Yeah, you were helping.
Right, yeah, I was doing routes because we were short staffed.
Yep. And so the other incident, even on the recording, you said, basically you're gone because you've already worked for 12 hours. And Scott, and I say Scott was kind of my main point of contact, even though I spoke with Fred and said Scott was my main point of contact for this investigation because Bobby is gone. And he wouldn't have been my main point of contact anyway.
Bobby's gone. Wow. Bobby doesn't work there anymore?
No, he doesn't work there anymore.
Wow, awesome.
And so he, so they say that, even on the audio, you're saying, I'm not going back because you've worked your 12 hours. And so Scott said that's kind of part of the problem. You guys could have possibly got more done. There's nothing that states at 12 hours you go home.
So the employment contract that I signed with Fred when I got hired, it said up to 60 hours a week. So from my understanding, that would equate to 12 hours a day.
And he said nothing says that you work 12 hours. So essentially,
well, I'd already brought up the hours being a problem. So the Friday after the 4th of July, that July incident, like I fell asleep on the way home from work driving. From exhaustion, just because they tried to get me to sign the resignation letter and whatnot, and Bobby was putting this quota of can washing on top of me doing routes. So I'd already told him, I think every manager there multiple times that like the hours were getting to be too long, because 12 hours is a normal day. Most days ran over 12 hours. Most days were 13 plus.
Oh, but you said on the last recording that I'm going home. I work my 12 hours. I don't work over 12 hours.
Right, because so that was basically that was the point where I had enough of Bobby trying to overwork me. Because from this, so the whole time he was there, or from the day he came there, it was kind of this this quota thing with the can wash, but of course he wasn't taking into account me getting pulled to go work routes and whatnot, and so whenever I'd go finish a route, whenever I'd get back, I'd still go try to keep up to the quota that he was putting me or holding me to. But yeah, so that was basically after months. I was just telling him what I agreed to. Like that's what I agreed to. I agreed to up to 60 hours a week. With Fred, but of course Fred wasn't there. I don't know where he was when all this was happening.
On leave some of the time that these incidents.
Yeah.
But essentially, they said, like the documentation. They said. So I asked also about Bobby. Does Bobby get complaints? And tell me about Bobby's management style. And so what I was told was that he does get complaints. The complaints weren't that he was necessarily unfair. The complaints were about the way he spoke to employees.
Right.
The way he spoke to employees, and that he was he really didn't bend. He really didn't bend. So he was really black and white. No, it's because of this. It didn't matter. So which I can see how that can cause problems for working with humans because we all have different things. But essentially, they don't want you to return. They don't want you to return. And said that just some of the things, and not because of this investigation, because essentially Fred said don't know about this investigation. I just asked a couple of questions. Scott knows that this is an investigation because I had to work with him on it and say, hey, can you listen to this recording with me? What do you get from this recording as it relates to 0.1 of what I'm investigating and stuff. So they essentially don't want you to return.
All right.
They believe the documentation is fair, should stick, and don't want you to return to GFL.
Can I ask why Bobby's not there anymore? Did
He resigned.
He resigned?
Yeah. He resigned, I want to say about a month ago.
So they would have done the same thing if he hadn't have been there? Like,
what do you mean?
Like they would have, would they have made the same call if he hadn't, if one of them had been, because I thought Fred had quit. I didn't think Fred was working anymore, which I asked Bobby if I could see the employment contract or go over the employment contract with him, because I know that I agreed to up to 60 hours. And even during when he actually gave me the separation letter notice, he even admitted that he knows that I guess they all know that the hours are getting too long, that we were being overworked. Because I asked him,
overworked is probably your word. Long hours is probably their word. I don't think anybody would argue that the hours I'm trash are long hours, but essentially speaking, they don't want you to return.
I mean, I understand that, but I mean,
you said would they have done the same thing if Bobby wasn't there? That would be tough to determine.
Well, so I get the feeling that it feels like to me that Bobby got irritated with me addressing the truck issues. So me being on the back, it's really the truck driver's responsibility. They're supposed to be keeping a log of anything that breaks on the trucks.
Sure, with a VCR.
Right. But the problem is that if they do that, they know they're going to get set back in the day because it's going to take time to fix the truck, and then which in turn in their head makes their day longer. So they tend to neglect to write these things down, which most of the things are more affecting the guy on the back, me. In what I'm doing. So it felt like, which I mean, I was pretty sure that the audio from the 5th was showed it pretty clearly of him him basically, he said I tried it on Friday, which I'm not trying to do anything when I'm addressing, issues with the trucks. Which a lot of things, most things I don't, like, I'm not nitpicking. It's very, to me, they're major issues that I'm addressing. It's not like, if, there's a little bit of plume out of the exhaust, I'm crying and want, hey, you gotta fix this, It's things like a diving board as far as a step that I'm standing on and the container body coming off the frame, those are, to me, are serious issues that need to be addressed. But yeah, I was pretty sure that it was clear that he basically he had enough of me, cause he considered it, I guess, wasting time, addressing these, issues with trucks. But cause that's what it feels like to me, is that it basically, because I was, trying to, that's what I was told I was supposed to do, is anytime I saw a issue with a truck to report it.
Absolutely.
But in spite of that, it seems like, because the day I got fired for was yet another day where I had to have, because the step was a diving board. It was barely connected to the truck, and all it would have took is one good speed bump or pothole or the driver running up on a curb or something like that for it to break off completely while I'm standing on it, and But just like I said, I think I was working with 2 other people that day, and only I was terminated.
Yeah. Could it have been, which I don't know, could it have been they didn't have the other documentation that you did?
What do you mean, the documentation?
The other documentation that you have in the file. It takes steps in order to be termed. So could it have been that they were not as high up on they didn't have as much discipline in the file as you did?
Well, I'm sure that they might not have, because so Jeremy never says a word about anything. He'll deal with any situation. He likes to work till midnight and whatnot. So when trucks break down, that's just free money to him, whereas I'm the type of guy I'm trying to get the job done and go home, cause I have other obligations to take care of.
Sure.
So I'm sure that they don't have as many, which I know Jeremy should have had a bigger file than me from the apps, as far as absenteeism and whatnot, but, I mean, even still, if the so-called, if I was so-called refusing to work, I don't understand how they wouldn't be considered refusing to work as well. Other than I was the one that because I tried to get the driver to the day up in particular with this where I had the step changed out. I tried to get the driver to call it in and report it, which he wouldn't do because again he's thinking of the time it's going to set him back. Which route's not getting finished in a day is nothing new. Nobody ever told me that there was a quota of you must finish a route every day. Like, routes don't get completed all the time. So I don't understand why I'm the only one that's being held to that standard, but not everybody else.
I'm just letting you, kind of talk it out. I mean, we've kind of already made a decision though.
All right. Well, I really wanted to go back to work and keep this civil, but I guess I'm gonna have to get other parties involved.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye. What a fucking waste of time. God damn. What a waste of time.
This way, I can offer you $16 an hour. We can work up to $6 a week. You can sign here, and I'll send you background. If your background come back through, it's good.
All right, that'll work. As far as moving up, do y'all do anything as far as like later on I want to drive or something like that? Would y'all help?
One guy I just got the phone with, he was a helper there. He got his license. The guy just left out of here. His helper's got their license.
Okay. Yeah, because they were trying. They wanted me to drive.
One who was standing right there just finished out.
Yeah.
He had this one got his license.
Yeah, they wanted me to drive, but they didn't want to help me get my license and nothing like that over there. But they wanted me to drive with no license. I was like, I don't know about that. Yeah, it just seemed a little risky, so I just stayed slinging on the back. Which I mean, I enjoy it. But make no mistake, I love being outside. Is there you have an average time for a background check? Is it like a day thing, month thing?
Where are you live at?
I'm sorry?
Where are the places you live?
Same address my whole life.
Well, if it's just Georgia, then it ain't gonna take long enough. You have a whole bunch of different addresses?
Nope, just Georgia, same address. Might throw Junior on there. I'm not sure if it'll matter. I've seen him as my father.
Michael Dennis Jr.?
Yeah. But there's no mix up. I don't stop with 8-year-old man. And yeah, I can start anytime. Drop of a hat.
Goes up to 6 hours. Anything over 40 hours is time and a half.
Awesome. That's what was getting me about there is they didn't want to pay overtime, but then they started deducting for days they were telling me to take off. So I'm like, hold on now. That's awesome.
I see background off. And I say whatnot. Just stay in contact with me.
So the truck want to take it. Try.
So it's doing something to you that it doesn't do to Marlon or anybody else.
Everybody else, so I noticed there's a few stickers that don't seem to be on the truck that's on some of the others. Most trucks have a sticker on there.
Are you done coding it?
Sorry?
Are you done? Are you done working?
I don't know. Well, that's not my call.
Well,
I'm not refusing to work. That's yeah.
okay, so then we need to get these cans picked up.
There's something right there, right? 98?
No, it doesn't work. It's got a cracked frame and needs to be sent off. Well, right now I got Benny's truck down. I've got Ernest's truck down. So I got 2 full routes on the ground right now. So this route needs to get picked up. Okay, Marlon uses this truck every day.
I'm not. That's Marlon. He might not know no better. I don't know Marlon that well. I don't know what he knows. But right here. You see what it down front of the cab.
Yeah, I've been doing that. The mechanics have looked at it. It's not a risk. It's not a hazard.
But it has to it. By all means, please, try to put a can in the back. You'll see.
What do you mean try to put a can?
Try to empty a can. You'll see what I'm saying. You'll see what I'm talking about. You have to literally hug the can, especially with all this holiday stuff, while you're trying to hit this lever.
Every truck you get on, there's an issue. I've been back here for less than a month, and every truck you've been on, there's been an issue with the driver, there's been an issue with the truck, there's been an issue with something.
I haven't had an issue with Mike. I haven't had an issue with Paul. Tisha don't even get a truck. I don't have an issue with it.
So why do you have an issue with Ricky? Ricky gets out of the truck probably more than anybody.
I don't have a problem with Ricky.
So what's the problem?
Ricky, did we have a problem?
Yeah, he's got a problem with you not getting out of it. He's sitting inside the cab of the truck when he's dumping cans. So, pack this. Show me what the issue is.
No, what's wrong with the truck? What's wrong with it?
Can't empty the can, can't hit the lever, and be clear to the lift at the same time. Come on, even Patrick knows how low this is.
It don't matter how low it's sitting. This motherfucker been sitting low. Ain't it wrong? This man been sitting low.
I mean, if it's been a problem, why ain't you been addressed before now? Why do I got to be the one to bring this to life?
Speaking to Scott, speaking of Scott, speaking of Sid, speaking to Fred, they were kind of involved.
Mm-hmm.
They contend, outside of this investigation, they contend when you are on the yard, you are good because you're not really interacting so much with other people. So they said outside of that is attendance or some kind of issue with you. That maintenance, who that's considered our experts, say that the truck was working fine on July 5th. You know, the issue that the truck was brought back to the yard for, and they contend that maintenance reviewed as well as the maintenance manager verified that the truck was safe to operate. So you refusing was an issue. Option of you can do this.
Well, so me and Scott had already agreed on me working the yard before any of this even took place.
Yeah, you were helping.
Right. Yeah, I was doing routes because we were short staffed.
Yep. And so the other incident.
So the employment contract that I signed with Fred when I got hired, it said up to 60 hours a week. So from my understanding, that would equate to 12 hours a day.
And he said nothing says that you work 12 hours.